Every wild animal lives with a survival system running constantly in the background: distance, speed, direction, eye contact, movement. Long before conscious thought, an animal's brain is already calculating risk. And when humans enter the picture, that calculation usually reaches the same conclusion: leave immediately. Humans represent danger. What's remarkable is that this reaction often appears even in animals with little or no previous experience with people. Across numerous wildlife studies and controlled observations, researchers have found that fear of humans frequently exists before learning ever takes place.
For many species, humans seem to register as a threat at a level deeper than individual experience. The response may be inherited, which creates a fascinating problem. What happens when that threat suddenly becomes a rescuer? When people cut fishing lines, remove snares, free animals from fences, or pull them from mud, we naturally assume the animal understands that we are helping. Science suggests the reality may be far stranger. To understand why, we first need to understand what captivity does to a wild animal. The instant an animal loses the ability to escape, its body enters an extreme physiological state unlike almost anything humans regularly experience.
Stress hormones flood the bloodstream, adrenaline surges, heart rate skyrockets, every emergency system activates simultaneously. A study published in the European Journal of Wildlife Research found that hoofed mammals trapped in fencing sometimes exhibited cortisol concentrations exceeding those measured in animals injured by gunshots or vehicle collisions. In some cases, being trapped produced an even stronger stress response than being shot. From the animal's perspective, this makes sense. For millions of years, losing mobility has often meant only one thing: death is approaching. The body responds accordingly. Outwardly, this state has a recognizable appearance.
The pupils widen completely, muscles become rigid, breathing turns rapid and shallow. Wildlife rehabilitators often describe trapped animals as appearing mentally absent, as if their entire awareness has narrowed to immediate survival. Nothing exists except the threat. So when a human approaches a trapped animal, the animal does not interpret the situation as rescue, it interprets it as the final stage of predation. This explains why struggling frequently intensifies as rescuers get closer. The threat has arrived. The animal spends what may be its final reserves attempting to escape.
And yet in certain rescues, something unexpected happens. The struggling stops, not because the animal has exhausted itself. Something changes. Researchers and rehabilitators who have witnessed these moments describe a distinct transition. The body softens slightly, the frantic movements cease, and instead of orienting away from the human, the animal begins watching them. One of the most famous examples occurred in December 2005. A crab fisherman discovered a female humpback whale entangled roughly 18 miles off the coast of San Francisco near the Farallon Islands.
Heavy ropes wrapped around her mouth, tail, and pectoral fins. Attached to those ropes were 12 crab traps weighing approximately 90 pounds each. The whale was forced to fight continuously simply to keep her blowhole above water. A rescue team arrived quickly. 4 divers entered the ocean carrying curved knives. Every diver understood the risk. A single powerful movement from the whale's tail could seriously injure or kill them. Yet, according to those present, something extraordinary happened. The moment the divers entered the water, the whale stopped struggling. For more than an hour, she remained near the surface while the rescuers worked around her. Several times, she even repositioned herself. She rolled, adjusted her angle, extended parts of her body, movements that appeared to provide the divers easier access to the ropes. A 50-foot, 50-ton animal remained calm, while unfamiliar creatures carrying blades cut directly against her skin. Researchers believe the explanation may involve threat recognition. Predators follow recognizable patterns.
They move aggressively, they close distance rapidly, they pursue directly. A calm rescuer behaves differently. The movements are slower. Attention is directed toward the entanglement rather than the animal itself. The expected sequence of predatory behavior never appears. The animal's nervous system searches for a familiar threat pattern and finds none. The result may be what some researchers describe as a suspension of threat processing. The alarm system remains active, but it loses the pattern it was built to respond to. A similar event was documented in Yellowstone. Researchers encountered a wolf caught in a leg hold trap. Initially, the wolf behaved exactly as expected. It lunged, snapped,
attacked every approaching person. Then, one researcher stopped moving entirely. He maintained steady eye contact without advancing. In mammalian communication, eye contact carries important information. Predators preparing to attack typically track movement and body position rather than holding prolonged, motionless eye contact. Some scientists propose that sustained, non-aggressive eye contact may fall outside the normal predator template. Whatever the mechanism, something shifted.
After several minutes, the wolf stopped lunging. It sat down and maintained eye contact in return. As researchers worked on the trap, the wolf simply watched. When the trap finally released, the wolf remained still, briefly looked directly at the researcher, then disappeared into the trees. Scientists describe moments like this cautiously. The animal's threat response does not disappear. Instead, the expected sequence never arrives, leaving the alarm system without a clear target. But perhaps the most difficult question begins after the rescue ends.
Once the danger is gone, why do some animals remain? After rescuers freed the humpback whale near the Farallon Islands, witnesses reported that she swam in large circles around the divers. Then she approached each diver individually. One by one, she gently nudged them with the front of her head before swimming to the next person. Diver James Mosquito later described the encounter as feeling like gratitude. Scientists remain cautious with such interpretations. Extreme stress can influence behavior in unpredictable ways, yet humpback whales possess spindle neurons, specialized brain cells, also found in humans, elephants, and great apes.
These neurons are associated with complex social processing, empathy, and rapid emotional evaluation. Whales possess the neurological machinery necessary for sophisticated social experiences. Whether that is what occurred during the rescue remains impossible to know. Elephants present another intriguing case. Young elephants rescued from mud pits in Kenya have repeatedly been observed making deliberate physical contact with rescuers before leaving. Often the elephant slowly extends its trunk toward a person's hand or arm and maintains contact for several seconds. This is significant. An elephant's trunk serves as its primary sensory organ. Containing tens of thousands of muscles and extraordinary sensory capabilities, the trunk functions almost like a combination of nose, hand, and fingertips.
Deliberate trunk contact is rarely meaningless. Researchers have noted that these interactions often appear exploratory rather than reactive. Elephants already demonstrate remarkable cognitive abilities. They recognize themselves in mirrors, remember individuals for decades, mourn deceased companions, and repeatedly revisit the bones of lost family members. The cognitive capacity required to distinguish between harm and assistance is certainly within their reach. Some researchers point out something even stranger. In several documented rescues, elephants remained beside rescuers long after escape was possible. The threat had ended. The animals were free.
Biologically, there was no obvious reason to stay, yet some stood nearby for minutes before quietly leaving. Not fleeing, not feeding, simply remaining. So do wild animals actually understand that humans are helping them? The honest answer is that science still cannot say. Evidence clearly shows that certain species, including whales, wolves, and elephants, sometimes suspend normal threat responses when calm humans interact with them in non-threatening ways. Researchers have also documented post-rescue behaviors involving observation, physical contact, and prolonged proximity.
What science cannot access is the internal experience itself. What did the wolf experience while watching the humans remove the trap? What was happening inside the whale's mind as she moved from diver to diver? Were these acts meaningful to the animals, or are humans simply experts at finding patterns that resemble ourselves? Future research may provide clearer answers. Advances in neuroimaging, long-term behavioral studies, and wildlife monitoring continue to improve our understanding of animal minds.
Some uncertainties will eventually disappear, but for now, the scientists who study these encounters most carefully leave the question open, because the animals themselves cannot tell us. And perhaps that mystery is what makes these moments so extraordinary.